Hey there! I want to tell you about Benny, the bounciest bunny in Whispering Woods. Benny was a good bunny, but sometimes he had trouble sharing. You know how it is, right? He lived in a cozy burrow under an old oak tree surrounded by his favorite carrot patch. Every morning, Benny would hop out of bed, wiggle his nose, and start his day with a big stretch. One sunny day, while hopping through the forest, Benny found something amazing. Can you guess what it was? That's right, a bottle of magical bubbles. But these weren't just any bubbles. When Benny blew these bubbles, they sparkled like rainbows and danced in the air. And here's the really incredible part. They made everyone laugh and feel light as air. Wow, Benny thought, these bubbles are incredible. I want to keep them all to myself. So Benny hid the bubbles in his secret hideout and only played with them when he was alone. At first, it was amazing. Benny bounced and giggled as the bubbles floated around him. He'd blow big bubbles, small bubbles, and even bubbles shaped like carrots. Benny even learned how to make bubbles big enough to jump through. He could make bubbles shaped like all his forest friends. But even with all this fun, Benny started to feel a little lonely. He watched his friends playing together and wondered if he was missing out on something important. But after a while, something strange started to happen. The bubbles weren't as bright or bouncy anymore. They didn't sparkle like they used to, and they popped way too quickly. Benny didn't understand. What was happening to his magical bubbles? He tried blowing harder, using more soap, even doing a special bubble dance, but nothing worked. Benny became so focused on fixing the bubbles that he stopped playing with his friends. He missed Ollie the Owl's birthday party and skipped hopscotch with Rosie the Raccoon. Then one day, while Benny was sitting alone with his dull bubbles, Ollie the Owl flew by. "What's got you down, Benny?" Ollie asked, perching on a nearby branch. Benny sighed and showed Ollie the bubbles. "They used to be so magical, but now they're just blah." Ollie thought for a moment, then hooted wisely, "Why don't you try sharing them? Maybe that's the real magic." Benny wasn't sure. Share his special bubbles, but they were his treasure. Still, he decided to give it a try, and you know what? The moment Benny started sharing the bubbles with his friends, something amazing happened. The bubbles glowed brighter than ever. They sparkled and shimmered in the sunlight. And the laughter of his friends was the most magical sound of all. Rosie giggled as she chased a bubble shaped like a flower. Ollie hooted with joy as he popped bubbles with his wingtips. Even grumpy old Mr. Badger couldn't help but smile as a bubble landed on his nose. Benny's heart felt so full of happiness, he thought it might burst like a bubble. He had never felt such pure joy before. He realized that sharing joy with others was way more fun than keeping it all to himself. From that day on, Benny and his friends had the bounciest, bubbliest adventures in all of Whispering Woods. They had bubble races, bubble tag, and even bubble picnics. And the best part? The bottle of magical bubbles never seemed to run out. It turns out the more Benny shared, the more magic the bubbles had. Benny learned that true happiness grows when you share it with others. So remember, kids, sharing your joy only makes it grow bigger and brighter. Just like these magical bubbles, your happiness can spread far and wide. Just like Benny's magical bubbles, your happiness can light up the whole world. Now who's ready for some bubble fun? Let's hop to it.
I blew a bubble, it floated so high, up, up into the sky. But what's the fun in playing alone? Let's share the bubbles and watch them roam. Pop, pop, I'll share with you. Let's blow bubbles pink and blue. When we share, the fun won't end. Bubbles are better with a friend. I tried to keep them all for me, but they stopped bouncing, don't you see? Then I learned, oh yes, it's true. Sharing bubbles brings joy to you. Floating high, where will they go? When we share, they shine so bright, making magic, taking flight. Pop, pop, I'll share with you. Let's blow bubbles, pink and blue. Friends together